We are studying chemical reactions and equations. This is chapter number 3 of Science 1. We will continue with the chapter today, and today we will learn about balancing chemical equations. Don't worry, we will understand a lot. What have we studied till now in this chapter? The first thing that we studied for this year, for this chapter, is chemical change. And when we say we studied chemical change, we understood that chemical change is something that changes the composition of matter. When there is a chemical change, the composition of the matter changes. Also, this change is a permanent change. Next, we understood the concept of chemical reaction. Chemical reaction. So wherever there is a chemical change, we say that a chemical reaction has taken place. It's the process. And what happens in the chemical reaction is bonds are broken and new bonds are formed. These bonds are chemical bonds. Remember, we know about two types of chemical bonds, ionic and covalent. Ionic bonds are formed by transfer of electrons, and covalent bonds are formed by sharing of electrons. We did not stop here. We also studied about something else, which are called chemical equations. And chemical equations are nothing but just a way to represent chemical reactions, a standard way, a short form of representing chemical reactions. This is what we have studied so far. So, before starting our studies for the day, for today, for this session, remember, one of the things that we include, one of the information that we include when we write a chemical equation is about heat. Whether heat is required to carry out the chemical reaction or the reaction produces heat. Okay? Try remember what we studied about heat with respect to chemical reactions, how we write it in the form of chemical equations. And I answer this question. The question is very simple. There are 4 reactions which are given on the screen. The reactions are already written in the form of equations. All I'm asking you to do is read these equations carefully and identify in each of the cases whether heat is being absorbed or it is being released. That is the simple question. Whether it is being absorbed or it is being released. Write your answers in the notebook and show me a thumbs up when you are ready. Whenever we see that heat is written on the right hand side along with the products like this and here, we can be sure that heat has been released. And whenever we see heat written on top of the reaction arrow, be sure that heat is absorbed. It has been given to the reactants for the reaction to happen. So released or absorbed. Yeah. Just try remember 2 new terms. Maybe some of you know it already. The reactions in which heat is absorbed, they are called endothermic reactions. Endothermic. Endo means inside. Absorption happens, we are taking something inside. Whenever heat is released, those reactions are called exothermic. Exothermic. Therm means temperature, heat. Endothermic means heat absorbing. Exothermic means heat releasing. Remember these words. We will come across these words. We will come across these types of reactions later in the chapter in much more detail. Yesterday, while teaching towards the end of the class, we looked at this. Calcium chloride reacts with sulfuric acid to form calcium sulfate and hydrogen fluoride. This was the reaction. And we tried to write the chemical equation for this reaction. And we wrote this: CaCl2 for calcium chloride, H2SO4 for sulfuric acid, CaSO4 for calcium sulfate, and HCl for hydrogen. This is what we wrote. And I said that this is not complete. Something is missing. Something is wrong. Try find out what is missing, what is wrong. So just checking, did you try? Do you have any answer? What is wrong here? What is missing here? The last thing that we did in the last class was we looked at this equation and we tried to write this in English in the form of a reaction. I think we said we will write it as silver nitrate solution reacts with the solution of common salt to produce a white precipitate of silver chloride in the solution of sodium nitrate. Keep these things in mind. And before we move forward, right now, use whatever you want to use. Find 2 uses of silver nitrate. Share it in the chat. When we look at the formula AgNO3, we may not be able to recognize what it is, but it's a very useful compound, very useful. And all of us are aware of its uses. We just don't know. Ag is silver. And NO3 is nitrate radical. Now, one use of silver nitrate is given in the textbook on page number 33. It says we use it as Voters ink. Now, what is Voters ink? Technically speaking, it's called indelible ink. जब ये एक बार कहीं लगता है तो फिर उसका छूटना मुश्किल होता है. Indelible ink. The other very common use of silver nitrate is as a medicine. It is used as a medicine in wounds. चोट लग जाए, घाव हो जाए, खून बह रहा हो तो घाव पे ये लगाते हैं. For cuts, burns, bruises, this is used. Silver nitrate. Coming to what we are going to study now, we are going to understand how to balance chemical equations. Right now, we don't even know what is balancing and chemical equation. We don't know yet. But by the end of this session, all of us should be able to balance given chemical equation. So the main focus of the session would be how to balance. But as we do, whatever we study, we start with why. Why do we need to balance? If that why is not clear, then everything else that we study, whether we are studying what, when, who, how, which, that will not be as interesting. So the most important part is to understand why we need to balance. And this is why I said, look at the equation carefully. We are starting with that equation. So equation is given. It's the same equation, AgNO3, silver nitrate in the aqueous state. Sodium chloride, aqueous state. So solution of silver nitrate reacts with solution of sodium chloride to form a white precipitate of silver chloride in a solution of sodium nitrate. All I'm asking you to do now is, in your notebooks, draw this simple table, or if you want to do it in your textbook, it is already there in the textbook on page number. This table is already drawn. It is on page number 34. Page number 34. But don't use the pen on your textbook. Use a pencil on your textbook and count the number of atoms of each element. I will show you one, you complete the others. The first one is silver. So what I'm going to do is I will count how many silver atoms are on the reactant side. This is the reactant side. This is the product side. So 1 Ag. Do I see any other Ag? No. So 1. Look at the product side. 1 Ag. So 1. That's it. You complete for the rest. Nitrogen, oxygen, sodium, chlorine. And show me a thumbs up when you are ready. in this reaction, in this equation, when we count the number of atoms of each of the elements, we see that for every element, the number of atoms that are there on the reactant side is same as the number of atoms on the product side. When we count the number of atoms for each of the elements for this reaction, for this equation that we wrote at the end of the class yesterday, we see that for calcium, the number of atoms on reactant and product side is same. For sulfur and oxygen, also it is same. But for chlorine and hydrogen, it is not same. It is not same. I put a cross mark here. I'm not saying that they are wrong. I'm just saying that they are not same. So in the previous equation, for every single element, the number of atoms on the reactants were same as the number of atoms on the products. But for this equation, it is not the case. Let us first appreciate this fact. Should the number of atoms of each element be same on both the reactant and product side? Should they be same? If they should be same, why? If they need not be same, why not? Right? They should be same. And they should be same because law of conservation of mass or matter. No, Prachi, it's not the law of constant proportion. No, law of constant proportion says wherever we take water from, it will be in the ratio, in a particular ratio, hydrogen and oxygen. That's constant proportion. Law of conservation of mass matter says that the mass of the reactants is same as the mass, will be same as the mass of the products. That is the law. But why should it happen? Agar aisa nahi hoga, uska matlab hai we can create matter. We can't. We cannot create matter. And as of now, in 2021, we cannot even create energy. At best, we can convert energy into matter and matter into energy. We can convert matter from one form to another. We can convert energy from one form to another, but we cannot create or destroy matter or energy. We still don't know how to do it. And that is why it should be same. We studied this last year, class 9. It must be same. Now, why is it not same then? In the first equation, in the in the reaction with silver nitrate, when we counted the number of atoms on both sides, they were same. But in the calcium chloride sulfuric acid question, the number of atoms were not same for two of the elements. Why were they not same? What will be your guess? Sometimes what happens when we just look at the English description, the word reaction, when we look at the English description of the reaction and when we translate that into a chemical equation, sometimes we will not realize that we have not written it correctly. This does not mean that we have written the molecular formula wrong. No, that is not the meaning. But where we go wrong is we get the number of molecules wrong. Not the molecular formula itself, but the number of molecules. And we will understand what is this mistake when we understand balanced and unbalanced equation. So the equation, the silver nitrate equation, that is a balanced equation because the number of atoms for each of the elements in that equation, they remain same. They are same both on the reactant and the product side. But the calcium chloride sulfuric acid equation is an unbalanced equation. Why? Because the number of atoms of each of the elements are not same on reactant and product. How do we balance it? That is what we are going to understand properly. And once we have balanced it, you will be able to understand what I just said, that we have written the equation wrongly. And our error is not in terms of the molecular formula, but in terms of the molecule number of molecules. Be ready with your pens, pencils, notebooks, and textbooks. So how do we balance? Yes. I told you there is some maths involved. What is the method? Yes. Oh my God. There is no method. We have to figure it out by trial and error. कोशिश करेंगे, हो गया बैलेंस तो हो गया, नहीं हुआ फिर से कोशिश करेंगे. This is the method. There is no method, but there are two suggestions. Number one, let us start. In any equation, there will be multiple compounds. There will be multiple molecules of the compounds. So let us start from the compound with the highest number of atoms. Simple counting will tell us how many atoms are there in each of the compound in a molecule of each of the compounds. So we will pick up that molecule, that compound which has highest number of atoms. And once we have identified that compound, within that compound, we will pick up the element which is having unequal number of atoms on both sides, reactants and products. This is the only thing that we need to use to keep our life a little bit simple. Let us see how we can balance a chemical equation. Here I am using the example of your textbook. Pay attention. Simple word equation is given. Sodium hydroxide reacts with sulfuric acid to produce sodium sulfate and water. Told you yesterday, sometimes it writes F, sometimes it writes pH. Both will be correct. Let's stick with F. Now, we don't even have an equation here. This is just a word equation. So let us first convert that into a chemical equation. I will give you a chance. Convert this into a word chemical equation. Textbooks closed. You are writing in your notebooks. Going back a step, we are given with a word equation. We quickly convert it into a chemical equation by using the formula for the compounds that are given. NaOH for sodium hydroxide, H2SO4 for sulfuric acid, sodium Na2SO4 for sodium sulfate, and H2O for water. A quick look tells us that number of atoms of sodium on the reactant side is 1, on the product side it is 2. Clearly they are definitely not balanced. We need to balance. Remember the two things that we said. We will start from the compound which has the highest number of atoms. Now if I count here 1 sodium, 1 oxygen, 1 hydrogen, so 3. Here 2 hydrogen, 1 sulfur, 4 oxygen, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 nitrogen, 1 sulfur, 4 oxygen, 7. 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen, 3. And we said we will start with the compound which has the highest number of atoms. So where do we start? When such situation arises, it is up to us whether we start from one compound or the other compound. So let us start. Let us just say we will start by focusing on this one, sodium sulfate. So here we see that on the product side, there are 2 sodium atoms. On the reactant side, there is 1 sodium atom. याद करो, जब ऐसा होता था हमारे पास fractions, unlike fractions, to make them like, we used to multiply the denominator with the other fraction. Agreed? We are going to do the same thing. Exactly the same thing. ये जो 2 है, we will multiply it with multiply here. You can also say that we will multiply this one with here. उससे फर्क क्या पड़ेगा? कुछ नहीं. So we don't say it. Now let us see sodium 2 and 2 balanced. We are still in the same compound now. So the next element is sulfur. Sulfur 1 on the left reactant side, 1 on the product side, balanced. Oxygen. Oxygen, if you see, now this is interesting. How do we count oxygen now? Here it is 4. But how many oxygen atoms are there here? Try, guess, tell me. When we now count the number of atoms for each of the elements, we see that sodium is balanced, sulfur is balanced, now oxygen is unbalanced. What can we do? Just balance them out now. You tell me, you give me a hint, क्या करें? क्या करने से now they will be balanced? I think you have understood what we are trying to do. We are trying to multiply some numbers to the molecules. Right? Chanda, very fast, correct. If we write it 2 here, why are we writing 2 here? Why is Chanda saying, why is Prachi saying, let us write a 2 there? Because see what has happened here. 6 and 5, we have to make them 6 and 6. So 5 has to become 6. एक बढ़ना है, अभी 1 है, उसको 2 करना है, कर दिया हमने, 2 कर दो. Balance. So sodium is balanced, sulfur is balanced, oxygen is balanced. What remains? Hydrogen. Let us see. Count and tell me how many hydrogen atoms are now there on the left hand side, on the reactant side. Correct, 4. How many hydrogen atoms are now there on the product side? 4. Balance. Now this is a balanced chemical equation. So after all the rough work, we can write it in the fair. What do we write? The balanced chemical equation. 2NaOH, H2SO4, Na2SO4, 2H2O. Now the summary is, the molecules haven't changed. NaOH remained as NaOH, H2SO4 remained as H2SO4, Na2SO4 remained as Na2SO4, H2O remained as H2O. The only thing that has changed is number of molecules of NaOH and number of molecules of water. And this is exactly what I had told you in the beginning. The mistake that we have done in the beginning is we got the number of molecules wrong. The molecules itself, the molecular formula themselves were right. What we got wrong was how many of them were there. So in a way, chemically speaking, the equation was correct. Physically speaking, the equation was not correct. Now everything is balanced. So when we come back, we are finally back where we were yesterday evening. Yesterday evening, we wrote this, and I told you that there is something missing. When we started the session today, we realized what was missing was it was not balanced. And when I asked what was missing, Prachi and Chanda had said, sir, we have to write a 2 here. Now it is balanced. Yes, it is balanced. Correct. As simple as that. Quickly check and confirm. Okay. So balancing and mathematics looks very daunting, looks very difficult. It is not. The math that we have here is not difficult. It's very easy. This is question number 7 of the exercise, directly from the textbook. There are 4 equations. Remember, all you are doing is balancing. It doesn't matter whether the state of the matter is solid, liquid, or gas. Doesn't matter. Whether it's a precipitate or a gas is released. Doesn't matter. All you are concerned with is to equate the number of atoms of each of the elements on both sides of the equation. It doesn't matter. You need not know what compound you are dealing with. Just make the number of atoms equal for each of the elements. 10 minutes starting now.